On today's episode, we're going to look at a really strange line of pedals that Korg released sometime in the 1990s. There's not a lot of information, but what I do know, I'm going to share. I can't make promises, but I can make guarantees. Let's roll the intro. In 1999, Line 6 appears on the pedal scene with a brand new Stompbox called the DL4 Delay Effect Modeler. This entire series changed how guitar players looked at digital pedals forever. Up until this time, a lot of companies had tried to use brand new processors and DSP innovation to get digital processing sounds to feel and act like analog components. It's very, very difficult. And there were some pretty good attempts. We have things like Boss with the ME series. We have DoD and Digitech with things like the FX7. And we have Zoom, which was a heavy hitter in the early DSP era with things like the 505. This is actually my first pedal ever, and it still has some pretty good sounds. Another company that contributed to this initial trailblazing of early DSP was Korg. And they released sometime in the mid-90s a Toneworks series. Now, here's the problem. I usually like to offer you tons of details, but there's nothing. There's no information on these. Nobody knows anything. They're super mysterious, and I'm gonna do the best I can to lead you on a journey of understanding this period of time and this series. Now, they don't have a name, so I'm just gonna name them the Spirit Animal series.
Spirit Animal series.
Because they have these weird animals. We'll get into that later. And I have a manual. This manual is in Japanese. And as you can tell, I am not Japanese. I'm gonna turn to page 4, and there's one hint that's very useful in the investigation of trying to figure this series out. Now, as a pedal detective, what I'm sharing with you, it's very valuable, but it's completely free on today's episode. We have a section here called CE Mark of European Harmonized Standards. It's a very nerdy term for this is the legal application and approval to use certain components in these pedals. And it says, CE Mark, which is attached to our company's products, AC mains operated apparatus until, here's the cliffhanger, December 31st, 1996. That means Korg had approval to make products with components that they were using here until December 31st of 96. That means these pedals came before that. I don't actually know anything past that, but I know they're kind of weird, they're kind of cool. They have funky animal things on them. And I'm gonna start with the Toneworks Spirit Animal series.
Spirit Animal series.
105 OD Classic Overdrive. You'll notice it has a spider on it.
I think it's an ant.
Is it an ant?
Does it have 4 legs?
It's 4 legs. It's a Spider Ant Overdrive by Korg, Spirit Animal series. It has a boost function, and it has a weird aliasing harmonic that's slightly irritating as the note decays, but just like certain family members are irritating, it's kind of endearing. Next up of the 4 pedals is number 2. It is the Spirit Animal series.
Spirit Animal series.
411 FX Super Multi Effects. Now that's actually the manual I had. Now this pedal, out of everything I own in this room, thousands of pedals, it wins the award for most complicated user interface I've ever seen. It's so confusing that I'm about to demo it, and I'm just gonna play and let Nick try to figure it out. I gave up.
Maybe this switch changes these
How
knobs.
does the switch down here correspond?
I don't know.
There's presets, users.
Then okay, so there's There's a preset
What's the bank?
I don't know what user means.
But there's letters? There's just letters.
DTCMAL, and that stands for drive tone, contra modulation, ambience, and then NR level.
There's an off knob, but there's stuff that makes no sense at all.
This is confusing.
But it has a lot of effects in it. And the spirit animal of multi-effect is apparently like a jackal anteater,
Looks like a jackal cat.
Is it a jackal cat? So this is the spirit animal series,
Spirit Animal Series.
Korg Jackal Cat 411 effects. That's what this is. I promise you. Number 3 in this 4-part series is the 301DL Dynamic Echo. I have the box.
He has the box.
There's a price tag on the box, $179.99. Now, when you're investigating a pedal line, you want to know how well did it do, what year is it from, what little tidbits can you find from the artifacts of history. And $179.99 price tag on a pedal from the 90s is probably your evidence and proof of why it did not last long and why people didn't like it. That's really crazy expensive. But I had this pedal a long time ago. They're pretty cheap on Reverb. I know people are already complaining the price is going up. Not my problem. But you have this 301DL Dynamic Echo, and it has what seems to be a lizard frog on it. I'm not sure. I'm going to say it's a lizard. Does it look like a lizard, Nick?
Yeah, like a newt.
Like a newt frog lizard delay. This is the Toneworks Spirit Animal
Series.
Newt Frog Delay 301DL Dynamic Echo. Now what's cool about this is it feels like old primitive digital rack mount delays. Now those are super cool. A lot of the old U2 albums, a lot of stuff that Brian Eno produced, and all these amazing records I've always loved use really lo-fi digital delays, and this does it really well. You have one row of knobs, 4 knobs, and you flip the switch here, and those knobs change to different settings. It's really versatile. It's the first time I had ever seen ducking on a delay, which means you turn the ducking control up, and when you're playing, the delay is faded into the background. Really useful and really cool. So the Spirit Animal
Series.
Korg 301DL1 Dynamic Echo Lizard Frog Newt Delay. I don't know where we're at with this name. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, let's play it. Last in this series is the Toneworks Spirit
Animal Series.
104DS Hyper Distortion with Cabinet Resonator CR. I don't know what any of that means. I also notice in the manual it says Guitar Hyper Performance Product. So this distortion is pretty accurately defined as a hyper performance product. I mean, we all know what those are. They're all over the place. You can buy hyper performance cars, razors, drinks. This is a hyper performance distortion pedal. And the Spirit Animal is definitely an eagle. I think it's an eagle, like a hawk eagle kind of thing. What do you think, Nick?
I think it's like a crane eagle.
Like a crane eagle. So this is the
Spirit Animal series.
crane eagle hyper distortion. I don't have a lot to say about this other than it knows nothing of subtlety. It is on. It is definitely on, and it has a gate that's always on. I like this pedal. Don't take what I'm about to say wrong, but I hate gates in distortion pedals because, especially when you can't turn them off. I can't turn this gate off. It's like when U2 forced their album onto my phone, they forced gate into my tone, and that rhymed, and that's amazing. I don't like the gate. I'm playing a Floyd Rose, and I can't drop D it because I'm scared to death of that. It's a mess. It's a mess. I'm going to try a riff. It has a cab simulator I'm never going to play. Never. Today's record time is brought to you by 2011's Mutual Friends by the group Boy. Now, my friend Philippe of Caroline Guitar Company sent me a link to this record. I listened to it on a road trip, blew my mind, listened to it about 15 to 35 more times, and then he mailed me the vinyl. That's a good friend, first of all. So if you have a friend that sends you vinyl, that's a friend for life. Check this out. It is phenomenal. They are really great songwriters. I don't know who produced this. I haven't got that far into it, but I know that it's mixed by the Wings of Angels. Sounds incredible. The drum tones are crazy good. The guitars are awesome. And it's the kind of thing where not a lot's going on, but everything's perfect. So just listen to it. Boy, Mutual Friends, in the comments, let me know why this is the best album you've heard like this year. Just go ahead and just start typing it out right now. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode about this line of pedals that I have so lovingly now named the Korg
Spirit Animal series.
I don't know what else to call them. I'm reaching, but it feels good. And I feel like you're going to pick it up and run with it. So these pedals are cool. They are a very primitive form of pedal in the DSP kind of technology. I mean, when you get into the 90s, there's some crazy stuff. And one thing about these pedals that I want to leave you with is that they are odd. They have sounds in them that aren't necessarily hip and cool. They don't necessarily do the things that you would expect them to do from the labels, but they have some fantastic creative sounds. So if you're a session player, if you're someone looking for something outside of the box and not so run-of-the-mill, these are really cool. They're really awesome. So go check them out. If you like this episode, hit like, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to get notifications of future episodes. Also, check out thejhsshow.com. Now, there's some merch on there, like JHS Pedals Suck shirts. You need this shirt because JHS Pedals Suck. You could go buy that. You could also go over to the Patreon where you can support the JHS Show as we archive all the history of guitar pedals, stuff like that. But most of all, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.